Hello, welcome to Ed Media. And today, we're gonna make predictions for the upcoming Inanimate Insanity IV episodes that will be shown at the meetup, aka, episode 6 and 7. Yeah, 6, 7, whatever. Anyways, I know this is being uploaded really late. Literally on the day of the meetup. But this is for the people who are watching the episodes in later dates or even until the episode officially releases. And if people who are attending today's showing do watch this, I do ask that you please don't comment if my predictions are correct or not. However, if you want to talk amongst your fellow audience members in the comments, please tag your comment with a spoiler tag in some space so we don't fully see your comment. That way people who have watched the episode can find and talk with you specifically. So let's get started. Okay, so what will these episodes be about? Usually this season episodes pick up where the last one left off, so these episodes will be connected. Episode 6 is called Point of No Return. I'm getting a lot of post-hiatus II Season 2 vibes from this episode. So basically, this episode will pick up where the last one left off, with Bot running to the hospital to see Fan, who has awakened from his injuries. At the hospital, Fan will be awake, but he won't be able to get up for a while. He most definitely says a couple of words to Bot about how he's gonna be okay and that they shouldn't worry. Just then Salt steps in and says that she has to take a closer look at him to see what he needs. So everyone is still sad about his injuries. He won't be hosting this episode. Everyone hears about how Fan is doing, so everyone regrows their resentment for Mitag. Poppy feels bad for Mitag, so they check up on him, only to see that Mitag is not handling it well and is slowly leaning to becoming a villain. Mitag warns Poppy not to trust them. Poppy leaves him alone, but Mitag is planning something. With word about this, the OSC most likely resume the competition, with Cabby hosting instead of OJ. I don't possibly know what the challenge could be, but Cabby could potentially do some sort of challenge that can enhance cooperation amongst the group. But I do think a couple of characters we haven't seen in a while will return. One of those being Guava. She hasn't been seen at all despite her having some significance with Starfruit. So perhaps Guava talks with Lightbulb about Starfruit being bad or something, so Starfruit begins getting mad at them as shown here. Also, I do think Candle will have a major appearance as well, as she is shown in the logo for the meetup. Perhaps she could help Fan with something about his inner flame that could help him get stronger. Or maybe she senses something in Mitag and reads his aura. This could lead to Candle consulting to Poppy about Mitag being a danger. Throughout the episode, Poppy will be telling Paper about how they're worried about Mitag. I do think Mitag will have a stronger presence this episode, but I don't know how, but he's making some sort of plan that gets revealed in the end. However, for the challenge, I predict Team Go Big or Be Last will be up for elimination. After the elimination, perhaps Fan is finishing up his surgery, meanwhile Mitag finishes whatever plan he's made. Episode 7 will most likely be super inaccurate due to us having no idea what happens this episode or any ideas. The episode picks up with Mitag contacting the purple corn person we've seen. The purple corn person talks with Mitag and is able to understand them. Mitag tells them about the contestants and what's going on. Meanwhile, Fan makes a full recovery and wants to get back to hosting. However, I do have a couple theories for Fan. I do think he will have some sort of disability due to his injuries. I don't know what though. So Fan is ready to get back to hosting, so we get a proper Fan challenge. I still don't know what it could possibly be. Throughout the challenge, however, I do think Soap could perhaps be getting more suspicious of Taco since she's getting closer to Teddy Bear. This has been hinted for a while, so I think her suspicions will heighten. Microphone talks with Soap about it and Microphone most likely gets mad at her for thinking this. Soap most likely warns her team members about this. Other things are Pepper maybe crashing out at Magnet to just leave her alone. And maybe Box finally reveals what issue she's facing to her team. I don't really know much else. For this challenge, I think Thematic Cats will be up for voting. I don't know what could be the cliffhanger for this episode. Maybe it's the purple corn using Mitag's location to begin their journey to the island. And that's what I predict the plots for these episodes. Now let's get into specifics. Now for episode 6, I predicted Go Big or Be Last will be up for voting. The characters most at risk for being eliminated are Trophy and Bonesaw. Trophy for generally being rude, while Bonesaw, he hasn't been relevant, so the writers might make him mess up or have him cause some issue. I predict Spiky and Bonesaw vote for Trophy while the rest could vote for Bonesaw. I would say Box wouldn't vote for Bonesaw, but they haven't interacted since like episode 3 and maybe Box gets super disappointed in him for whatever reason. As for the elimination in episode 7, I predicted thematic cats will be up for voting. The contestants most at risk are Taco, Microphone, and Cherries. Taco because Soap finds her suspicious, Microphone for being close with Taco and potentially defending her, which hinders her reputation in the team, plus she's already gotten far in season 2, so the writers most likely want her to be an early boot to give the other characters time to shine. And Cherries for usually being annoying and being the least important character in the team, so Cherries probably messed up or something. I think Soap will vote for Taco, Microphone and Taco vote for Cherries, and Tea Kettle, Teddy Bear, and Cherries vote for Microphone. Which means Microphone will be eliminated. I have a feeling she'll get out simply because this team is full of contestants who have gotten out early except for Taco and Microphone. Taco however only competed in season 1. Which leaves Microphone who made it very far in season 2. And Teddy Bear is a newbie, and she's a more important newbie too. So yeah, Microphone is most likely like first eliminated for this team. Which would make me really sad because I love Microphone, but hopefully she gets plenty of development. I have a feeling we're gonna get a song this episode simply because every meetup episode there is always a song. For II-14, we had the Springtastic jingle. For II-215, we had Taco's tirade. For III-V1, we had the OSC song. So it seems like tradition to continue that streak. But who's gonna sing? The top contenders I have in mind are Fan, Candle, Poppy, or Guava. Fan because this is like his comeback episode, and his song could be about how damaged he is or whatever. Candle because she's gonna have a big role this episode, or so it seems, and maybe her song could have something to do with her inner flame. Poppy because they also have a big role this episode and they are probably singing to me tag about how things can be okay. And my last guess is Guava because they're like a musical person and I have predicted she'll return, and she could sing to Starfruit about whatever breakup they had. So for IV6, I really doubt Fan is gonna host because he's still recovering. So my guess for who's hosting is Cabby because she still hasn't had her episode yet despite each OSC member having one except her. So maybe this time she'll host. Each OSC member had something to do with their ideology when monitoring the game, such as Suitcase having a safety check in the game. OJ hosted the game when everything seemed like it was getting out of control, as with his ideology of order. So Cabby could most likely make some sort of challenge that involves trust and cooperation. I was also thinking maybe Bot will fully host this time instead of doing it partially with Bo. But Bot would probably want to spend time with Fan. So my guess for episode 6 is Cabby hosting. As for IV7, I do think Fan could come back. The previous episode, like I mentioned, Candle could have a helping hand with Fan by helping him achieve his inner flame, which could help heal him. And in episode 7, he could make a recovery and be able to host again. However, he is gonna have some sort of drawback. Maybe he's gonna have crutches or something. But if Fan isn't able to make a recovery by then shoot, I don't know, maybe Baseball and Clover because they are like tour guides or whatever. Maybe even the floor. I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall now. Okay, so IV6 seems like a really big episode for me tag. They are most likely fed up with their treatment. As they have previously worked for cops, a lot of people don't understand them except for Poppy. But since Poppy is being mistreated as well, Tag has probably had enough and wants to betray the new society. Of course, they consult Poppy, but Poppy wants them to hold out hope. Tag could potentially see this as betrayal and goes rogue by contacting the Purple Corn Chef. With this corn person being a famous chef with their own cook show, they could alert the media about the new society, which endangers everyone on the island. So now this new corn is planning to make their way to the island with Tag awaiting them and planning something heinous. This won't take place just in episode 6, this could take place over episodes 6 and 7. So yeah, I definitely feel bad for Tag, but I can't excuse their actions here. But we will see what happens. So these are my predictions for Inanimate Insanity IV episodes 6 and 7. My predictions could potentially be way off and incorrect, but Inanimate Insanity is usually hard to predict. Anyways, I'm super excited for these episodes. Especially episode 6, as this will be the episode I will be watching at this year's meetup. I will be attending the Atlanta showing for my first ever BFDI and IA meetup, and I am super excited to watch these episodes. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe por favor. Goodbye.